By falling up the next day, it was the students' training time. It was time for them to train, get certain artifacts, and make their and have their own team. Junior immediately did not like the sound of this, not one bit. But he had to do it so that he can blend in. Plus, if he had to get answers, this was the best place to start. Plus, his mom was here way before he was. She got used to every single human here. About a couple of hours later, he actually found Ruby and Yang having a conversation. He then entered to the scene. Oh, hey, Aaron. Hey, Aaron. Hey, Yang. Hey, Ruby. Say, were you guys watching me sleep last night? Because if you were, that was kind of creepy. Oh, we're sorry. We just got to notice your scars. My scars? What about my scars? Junior was instantly panicking on the inside. He forgot. He was sleeping with his shirt off last night. And he didn't have much clothes, so he also was sleeping not just without a shirt. He also was sleeping with, well, his shorts as well, which almost everyone noticed that, but didn't question it because they immediately were afraid of him almost instantly. And they didn't know why, but they don't want to know. Where did you get those scars? I was in a fight with some Grim. That's funny, because if you, those scars don't look like they're from Grim at all. They look like you got attacked by a dragon, or like a giant armadillo or iguana or something. I was fighting a three-headed dragon, and smaller dragons came up behind me and ambushed me. How small were these dragons? Godzilla Legionnaire pointed out that they were smaller, about the same size as a rat, basically. At first, they find it hard to believe, but then they decide to not question it. So, what is going on here? We're about to go and to get some artifacts, kill some Grid, and make our own team. Well, first, Osmond has to choose our team. There's usually a certain limit, but there's normally 4 team members. But there's rarely only a 5th team member joining. So a 5th team member happens on a rare like a rare thing that's like a rare thing, like a 5th person joining. Yeah, you can say that. Okay. Do you have any interest in joining a team? Maybe. I don't get along with many people around here, so... We noticed that because last night, people were terrified of you. They didn't laugh, but they didn't do anything. They were just flat out terrified. So, is that it? Yeah, that's pretty much it. So, do you want to come along? Sure, I guess. About a couple of hours later, after getting all the artifacts, the team names were being decided by Osmond. And Ruby's team was created. The team numbers had 5 numbers. Ruby, Weiss, Yang, Blake, and of course, the fifth number surprised everyone completely. Aaron Yeager was the fifth team member. At first, Godzilla had no particular reaction about this, but eventually he actually got used to it. He may not be the one in charge, but he definitely didn't mind taking orders. Immediately he got used to his new team, even though he had a team of his own, and that team was called the Earth Defenders. But see, this was completely different. This was a team of humans. Godzilla Jr. decided to wait for a couple more days before telling Ruby and the others about his true identity. Of course, he had one room separate from Team Ruby since he was a guy, and well, the majority of his team was basically girls, so that way things would be less awkward. But he was allowed to come in on rather team meetings or just to hang out. He didn't know why, but he immediately performed a strong connection to Yang. Yang, Ruby, Weiss, and Blake were looking for Junior until they saw him exercising a little bit. And they were shocked about the number he was counting up to. 560, 561, 562, 563. They couldn't believe it. Well, Aaron Yeager actually counting up to that many numbers at a time? They couldn't believe it. It was impossible to count that high without getting so exhausted that your entire body would collapse. They knew something was up about him. They could tell he was not on, well, drugs. He was clearly normal. $570. Man. Ugh. Oh, man. Well, that's a new record. He did notice that Ruby and her team was watching him. How long were you guys were standing right there? How in the world can you do that? Do what? Get to 570. How is that possible? You could say my dad and my mom are pretty buffed up. And it was not because of drugs. They actually worked out almost all the time. You say I'm kind of picking up on that. Ruby was about to question about it, but Weiss and Blake noticed Yang's reaction. Yang was looking at Godzilla's muscle. Well, Junior's muscles and his 5 pecs. And he was basically sweating like crazy. Yang had her eyes widen and she was blushing. She was actually having a nosebleed. Godzilla Jr. noticed it. Are you okay? You have a nosebleed. Yang said something way too fast that Junior barely had enough time to actually figure out what she said. Oh yeah, I'm fine, yeah, you're just so goddamn hot. Weiss and Blake didn't know what exactly Yang said, but Ruby instantly knew what she said. She was standing right next to her older sister. Oh my god. Ruby was thinking in her head. She has a crush on the new guy? Oh my god, I don't even know how to react to this. Then again, he is actually kind of hot. They were all well, Ruby and Yang were completely ignoring the fact that he had so many battle scars on, and that they barely have enough time to realize what they were basically doing. Weiss and Blake, however, they noticed the battle scars, but they were more concerned about their two comrades. It wasn't until Junior clapped his hands together to snap them out of it. Oh yeah, we're sorry, we should probably go now. Right? Yeah, we should probably go. We'll see you later, Aaron. Junior couldn't help to look at John, who was a friend of Ruby and Yang. I have no idea what was going on between those two. But good lord, you have a lot of battle scars. Is everyone going to be talking about my battle scars? While Ruby, Yang, and Weiss and Blake were walking, Yang was thinking in her head, does she actually have a crush on the new guy? Her dad and her uncle are gonna freak out when they figure out that that Yang has a crush on a new guy, and that he's so attractive. So attractive, in fact, that he actually got Ruby and Yang's attention. Blake a little bit, she wasn't that surprised. They had to go to class, but they were waiting for Junior to get done on training for a little bit. After he was done on training, put his shirt back on. He was walking to class, and I was walking right next to Yang, barely noticing her reaction. Yang was just all googly eyes at him. It took Junior long to realize that Yang was looking at him with googly eyes. Why are you looking at me like that? Oh, nothing. This is getting weirder and weirder for me by the moment. But this is my team now. So might as well have to get used to it at some point. Junior didn't want to admit it, but he was really getting used to this team. To him, this team felt more than a team. They felt like family. A family that he never had before. Well, he had a family that was very similar to this, but that family fell apart when his dad and his mom, when his dad died and his mom disappeared.